The '09, if you know, very ripe vintage, very warm vintage, so really good year overall for ripening and getting lots of sort of intense fruit. So let's give it a taste. And I think this was the first vintage where some of this fruit went onto into it, and yeah, I don't, percentage-wise, do you know how much it was?
Maybe 10%.
Okay,
Yeah,
just a small amount, yeah. So again, it's a 95 Sauvignon, 5% Semillon blend, but some of the first Similkameen fruit in there.
So same percentage as the old?
The blend?
The
yeah,
blend.
95.
Yeah, 95. Yeah. This one I get that nice sort of combination of sort of the green Sauvignon Blanc fruit and then sort of some riper stuff at the same time. So you get a little bit of both, and some of that nice melon, but also the real citrusy lime and lemon aromas. This one I get that nice sort of combination of sort of the green Sauvignon Blanc fruit and then sort of some riper stuff at the same time. So you get a little bit of both, and some of that nice melon, but also the real citrusy lime and lemon aromas. Nicely bone dry, good level of acidity, but quite an intense, really, you can really get that sort of concentrated, intense palate there. And flavor-wise, again, got a little bit of that oak, some of the lees again, and then that sort of minerality, lots and lots of citrus, and a bit of a kind of a chalky texture. You know what I mean? It's sort of towards the end, you get a chalky texture, and I kind of, to me, that's the sort of flavor you often get out of the Similkameen. And I don't know if it's the 15% is enough to give it that. I'm not going to say that it's all that, but you get a little bit of it sometimes from oak, but it often comes from a soil type, right? And that really sort of mineral, stony soil, you get that sort of, it's like a dusty kind of texture. This wine, you can see, I'd probably say definitely not the right time to drink it. It's so kind of tight and wound up and not very generous on the nose, but you can really taste there's a lot of concentration in there, but it's in that sulky mood, right? And you can just sort of see how it's going to open up into something much more, and yeah, but it's like you can see all the potential in there. So often you find that with some of the best wines, when you drink them too young, you smell and you taste, and you just, you're writing tasting notes, and you just like, you get nothing. Right, but you're drinking like this great wine. It's got this great pedigree, but and you can sort of taste there's a lot, but it doesn't seem to be anything in particular. And that's wines I often find they're concentrated, but haven't opened anything up yet. And so this wine I think is definitely in that kind of phase. And so giving it a couple more years, I'm sure it'll like sort of blossom out and open up the aromas and the flavors. And I think it's going to be a really excellent quality wine. It's got really got a lot of that intensity. That's what I look for when you judge wine. It's not sort of what do you smell, but you look for the balance of the wine. You look for how intense the flavors are of the wine, and sort of how long the finish is on the wine. And that's really the true quality of wine, is getting those structural elements right. And and then if there's more complexity as well along with that, then all the better, right? So you can it has that balance and that intensity and that length of flavor. It's just not being very forgiving yet. And at 14% alcohol, I don't really taste any heat. You might expect to get that alcohol burn on the back of the throat, but I didn't even notice it. I didn't even think about it, right? And so that shows again, it takes quite a bit of wine fruit intensity to hide 14% of alcohol, right? So that's another clue that this is a wine ready to sort of open up. So stick that one back in your cellar for a couple of years, and